wanted to get into a little bit of, you know, if you could tell us about growing up and where you're from and whatnot.
No doubt. Small town kid, San Pedro, California. I grew up all around Los Angeles, but San Pedro is pretty much the city I spent most of my time in for my childhood. I've been making music. I fell in music, you know, fell in love with music rather, you know, well before I can remember, and I've just been, you know, just grinding it out. And here we are, South by Southwest 2012.
Absolutely. And last night at SOBs, you were kind of talking about the struggle you went through just to, you know, get your sound somewhat accepted and heard and whatnot. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know, my story is not different than a lot of artists. You know, we all deal with our bit of rejection, and you know, early on I decided I wanted to be a musician. So by, you know, the age of 15, I got a lot of rejection, and you know, I'm 25 now, so I'm, you know, just about, you know, 10 years since then, you know, I've just been working hard, and, you know, blessed that we're here now to be able to, you know, put music out, and people are finding something that resonates with them, and just enjoying every moment, man.
I wanted to maybe talk a little bit about how you feel about Prince's legacy on music as a whole. Where do you think he sits?
I mean, this is I mean, when you talk about Prince, you have to really consider the full spectrum of what it is he embodies as an artist. Not only is he a extremely gifted and exceptional musician when it comes to playing every fucking instrument you can think of, but as a songwriter and as a creative person and how he put things together, I think he just has a really unique take on and perspective. And if you listen to any of his songs, I mean, just his perspective in his songs is just really unique, and I think that's why I appreciate his music so much, you know. And it's hard not to be influenced by that, especially coming from a soul and classic rock background, you know what I mean? I think he really took those two elements and funk and put them together in a really genius way, man. So I mean, he's really at the very top of my list of, you know, beloved musicians. Yeah.
Favorite Prince album?
Oh, that's tough. Between his debut album and Purple Rain, which I mean is gonna be, for real Prince fans, I think while I'll say Purple Rain is even in the running for that, is because it was his like 4th album, I believe, into it, and that's when everyone really discovered him. And I think even for him, it was him really owning everything, you know what I mean? And he had already owned it before then, but he had just come into such a comfortability with everything that he was giving everyone that you couldn't, you know what I mean? And I think just for the sheer time factor of when it was released and the temperature of society and culture at the time, I think that's what kind of puts it in the running. So yeah. Do
you see yourself and your sound kind of moving towards that same area of comfortability?
I really think that, you know, in general, not only for me, but, you know, with time and experience, you start to realize things that really work for you and what doesn't, and you start to refine your own vision, you know. And as I work, you know, I do feel like I'm coming into my own a lot more, so it's a good feeling, you know. And I'm excited to hopefully reach that point where everything I do is just such a great representation and a clear representation of what it is I see about myself, and it really connects with people the way that, you know, hopefully I can connect with people the way that Prince did, or, you know, any of my other favorite artists, Queen or David Bowie or the Police and so on and so forth, the Rolling Stones, you know, things like that, artists like that.